Is there room for technology in the game of golf? Let's go find out. Spring is looming in Calgary, Alberta, but we aren't headed to the golf course today. There's still 6 feet of snow beside my driveway. So we opt for Plan B. Today our destination is a Grand Slam Golf Academy, a unique facility with numerous golf simulators, a massive putting green, and real bunkers. They also have enough toys and gadgets to make even Hank Haney jealous. It's like Frankenstein's laboratory for tech nerds and golf nuts. And what laboratory would be complete without a mad scientist? Enter Scott Stiles, a retired touring professional turned teaching pro, and Grand Slam's resident short game guru. Made by Science in Motion, this is basically the TrackMan for your putting stroke. So after Scotty hooks me up, I'm going to make 10 putts, and this is going to give us some sample data. And this isn't just giving me swing plane, this is going to give us 29 points of data.
So this is the initial page. What it measures, so as we go through it, the SAM, it'll give you a score and then a consistency.
Okay.
So anything above 75 is good.
Okay.
That's all the data on here was measured off 99 tour players. First thing is aim. So this is measuring where your aim at setup. So
At address.
At address, yeah. So 0.8 degrees closed, but that's a pretty small number. Like if you think about how small a degree is, right, on a circle, like 0.8 degrees, so your aim, like we look at it, 83%. That's a good number. That's what we like to see. So then the direction, so this will show this is your face at impact. So 0.7 open, again, that's, it's a pretty good number. Like we want to get that as close to 0 as possible, but this is what we can see is the stroke path. So the stroke path is going left.
Huh.
So you're kind of cutting across it.
Yeah.
So to put this in perspective, by their numbers, face angle is responsible for 83% of where the ball goes. Club path is only 17%. So the face angle means more than the club path, right? But they're both related, right?
Yeah.
So the top view, so this is the stroke. So this is what would be the center, like the center of your putter head, what it's doing for your stroke.
Bird's eye?
Yeah. These numbers are obviously really good, so like really nice and consistent. Have you used that putter at all before?
Wait.
Okay. So like you obviously have a pretty good,
that's
you know where the center is.
That's the new game.
Tour pros tend to hit the ball a little bit higher on the putter face. That's just kind of the tendency they found is it's always a little bit up.
Interesting.
Whether they do a really good job of, kind of keeping their hands nice and low, they're not lifting up and out of it type thing. So,
right.
These numbers are all pretty good. Like we look at your impact spot, every single one is in this gray area. So then the launch, again, we assume that the putter's got 3 degrees of loft, so that will kind of tell the story. So shaft angle, so from setup to impact, it's delofting 3.7 degrees. Again, a lot of people have a forward press. It's a pretty common tendency. So then this effective loft is 0.7 degrees negative.
Yeah.
So, that lofted impact is, just under 0.
Yeah.
And then we combine it with this rise angle, so how much you're hitting up on it, to give us this predicted launch.
Angle.
Yeah, so this is 0.1 degrees down. So I don't know if you could see it, like what that's meaning. If you're hitting down on the ball, it's gonna come up. You're hitting the ball into the ground. It's gonna dig in, then hop up and skip kind of thing. So what we'd want to do is get this. We want this rise angle to be up around like 4 if we can, like between 2 and 4, kind of up a little bit higher here, so that we can get this predicted launch in that 2 to like 3.5 degrees. So then rotation, so really good. So really consistent. So it's closing, this is from 10 centimeters before to 10 centimeters after. It's rotating at basically the exact same rate,
okay.
which is really good. That's what we want to see. We like to see these lines that are just kind of tracing each other. So again, all these numbers, pretty good. Rotation before impact, a touch high, but again, it's nice and consistent. Same thing, you got a nice like tiny grip, a really kind of feel style putter.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have a little bit of face rotation, right? Face of path, this is just a picture of how the face is rotating. So this is the club path, and then these other lines are what your club face is doing. So your rotation relative to your path, just a touch open, but I mean, that's such a small number, right? Like 0.3. Having that nice stable rhythm. A lot of times what people do is they get it's so easy to start thinking about putting that they start to slow down a ton.
Yeah.
And the more you slow down, whether you're decelerating or not, it's tough to be consistent. So, same thing. The length of this forward swing time, some of that would be skewed by how long some of the follow-throughs were. But, again, we like to see these right in these gray areas, kind of, in that 0.6, 0.65, 0.7 kind of on the high end, and then 0.3, like there's another tool, it's called blast motion. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's like a little sensor you put on the top of your putter. They say 2 to 1. They want to see 0.6 to 0.3 on the way through. So that tempo every time. And these guys have done their study is 2 or 2.1 to 1. So anywhere kind of in that range, but you want to just make sure you're nice and smooth.
Right.
Yeah.
It's probably the fastest way.
So then this is that's the putting stroke. So you can kind of see what angle the shaft is at. So just at address, right? You can see how pressed that shaft is.
Oh, I know it is.
Yeah.
I've always kind of done that because I felt like it helps me keep consistent.
And sometimes it's just like a trigger too, right? Like it's like, okay, and then you go,
it's just
right?
The mindset.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that I used to do it a lot, and I've worked with guys who do it, and like it just takes it doesn't really do anything in the stroke, but just like you can almost do it mentally in your head where it's like, okay, set up. Where you would press, you just kind of like hold it and then go, and then because it doesn't really change the stroke, it's just changing that like the mental part of it before.
Yeah.
So then we can look at it, from a side view, so we can see kind of the rise angle there. Again, your stroke's nice and consistent, right? Like it's pretty smooth.
Does there anything said or anything beneficial for that? Like whatever that would be, what do you call that?
Like the height off the ground. So the other stuff, like we don't want to see big like looping like up and down, right? Like
or a straight sweep.
Yeah, like it's got to be somewhere in the middle. It all depends on what the individual person's stroke is like, right? Like we like to see nice and consistent where it's you get a lot of rise here and it's got to be coming down, then you give less time to hit that ball at the what the launch angle that we want to see it at, right? If it's if that circle's like this big as opposed to like a nice like wide one, you're just gonna lose consistency.
So, in one short hour with Scott, I learned more about the putting stroke than I even thought possible. And I also have some changes to make. Stop forward pressing, stop delofting my putter, take a longer backstroke, take my backstroke slightly inside, finish my stroke slightly inside, and have a dedicated end to my putting stroke. But my tempo was perfect.